morning. Oh, it looks blurry again. Ay, 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 ay. I'm here, but it looks blurry. So, yeah, okay. Well, that's going to push me to get a new phone. Buenos dias, buenos dias. Could you tell me, whoever is here? Greta, buenos dias, my friend. Is it blurry or can you see me okay? Hola. Can you tell me if it's blurry, Greta? You can see me okay? It's not too blurry? Okay. Perfecto. All right. So, good morning. Good morning, good morning. All right, so today we are making our bowls. Mm. This is the first weekend. It's good? Yay! Altina, buenos días. ¿Cómo está? Liriano. Okay, that's a new name. But you are welcome, whatever your name. Today we welcome August. And I decided last time that we were going to start a series. You know, in August we did, in July we did soups. Oh, you know, I love soups. I could do soups every weekend. But even yesterday, I cooked some soup for some friends. Oh, they're downstairs. They were having some issues with their electric. The thing we go through, the owner didn't pay the bill, so, you know, some of us go through that. But let me get my knife. What we want to do right now, we are going to roast some squash because I want to add that to our bowl. I don't know who came up with the idea of the bowls, but I like it. I like it. I like the idea of having bowls. You know, it's almost like if you're doing meal prep. You remember how that became very popular a little while back, where people. What I didn't like is that you spend your weekend prepping for the week. It's like it took away from. This is your time to rest, but even in the weekend, you're still working towards the following week. So I made herb oil on Friday with the members. So today we're gonna just put our calabaza squash in. So with the meal prep idea, buenos dias, thank you so much. I think what I like about my channel is that we have variety, right? It's not just one thing. We cook, we exercise, and then we talk about life, we talk about moving to Panama. Even though right now I probably should take a little pause because there are so many people moving to Panama. So I think I can relax now. The word has gotten out. We were talking about that yesterday in our Spanish class. Yep. But anyway, so the prep idea was good. But you know, you spend your weekend prepping for the week and it's like, when did you rest? I don't like that. So now we're gonna put a little bit of herb oil on our calabaza squash. So the idea of a bowl is that you have different things. It pushes you to be creative and to have variety. So I like that part of it, right? So my daughter is here visiting, so I'm gonna make 2 bowls, right? And your bowls can be anything you want. And I kind of like that freedom to be creative because I'm a very creative person, only in the kitchen, right? Only in the kitchen. I can't paint, I can't sing, I can't do anything else. I tried to play the piano and I tickled like for years and it wasn't going anywhere. So I'm wearing some socks because I just cleaned the floor. I'm up the floor just a little bit because it needed to. And in Panama, we are in rainy season. I woke up to thunder. We've been getting some storms in the middle of the night. And so when it's cloudy and it's... Oh, te estás mudando a Panama. Qué bueno. Muy bien. Bienvenida. So when you want something to dry and it's very humid outside and the sun is not out, things do not dry. You know how in Florida, if it's sunny and I put something outside or I open the window, it doesn't take long. I would put like my sneakers and stuff. Here, it takes days for anything to dry. And even the people who buy the little, I don't know what you call it, it's like a little rack, and then you put some clothes on your patio, they say it still takes days. So I cleaned the floor, and I knew it was going to take a little while to dry. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of my herb oil on this, the squash. And then I'm going to pop it in the oven. Now, one thing to know about squash is that it does not take a long time to cook. Squash cooks super fast, okay? So here we go. We just mix it real good, and we're gonna pop it. This is why the herb oil is so versatile, It's got the salt, it's got the pepper, and all the dry herbs. So you can do that for any of your veggies, okay? So I'm gonna pop it in the oven. And it will be, about 30 minutes when I'm ready. All right, so in the bowls, you can do sweet, you can do savory. Some people will do, you live in Florida. Oh, okay. Where in Florida are you, Tina? I was in Central Florida. Well, my house is still there. So you could do, you remember acai bowl? Where they would put the acai, they put yogurt, they put, we can do that one day. You do the yogurt, and then you get the fresh fruit, berries usually. And then I can make a nice granola, because granola, you're in Central too, Madora. I was in Claremont. And so you could do that. So you could do a breakfast bowl. And some people do oats overnight. I'm not an oat person, even though I used to love oatmeal. Yeah. Until I heard this doctor said, there's nothing good about oatmeal. It needs to be given to horses. I'm like, ooh. Okay. So I have two different kind of bowls. I have like a deep bowl, and I have a more shallow bowl. Yes, breakfast bowl. You put some Greek yogurt, and then you do like a nice homemade granola. I can make a good granola, but the granola with oats and raisins and nuts, it's amazing, right? And then you do no eggs or anything like that. Although you could do an egg bowl, because that's the thing. The ideas would just go through your mind, and you don't have to limit yourself. That's what I mean. So we could do that. Bananas, granola, berries. What else could you put in there? So you could make it look really good, really pretty. And then I was thinking salmon, and you could do veggies. You could do peas. You could do, some people have like lettuce. I'm not a lettuce fan, so I probably won't do that. But give me some spinach and Swiss chard, and I'm good. Cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, yeah. So we're going to be experimenting. But we're only doing it for a month, so we can kind of figure out what to do. But today's bowl, what I decided to do, I decided to do some oxtail. And the way I'm going to do the oxtail, I decided to cook the oxtail last night because you know how long it takes, and I don't have a pressure cooker. I need to get one. Hello, this is Caleb. Happy Sunday. Hope you're having a good day. I am. Caleb, thank you so much. O'Neill for joining. Yeah, you've been here several times, so thank you. So I cooked the oxtail last night, and I've been snacking on them too. So what I want to do now, so now it's been in the fridge, so you're going to have the fatty part congeal, which is a good thing because then you get to scoop it up. Look, you don't want that in your body. You don't want that in your arteries. And I remember when I was in school, when you were studying good fat versus bad fat, they say if a fat solidifies at room temperature, it's bad for you. So when you cook something and then you see the top has that layer of fat, scoop it up and throw it away. You don't want that in your arteries. Okay? So that's what I'm doing right now. I am getting the fat away from the oxtail. And that's why, you know, if you eat a lot of meat, it's not good for you because you are ingesting some of that cholesterol. No bueno. So that was 2 tablespoonfuls, and there's still more. See what it looks like? And also when I was studying, they brought models, you know, to study the heart, and they were showing you the fat, what it looks like, that attaches itself to your arteries. Ow. So you don't want that. You want to minimize how much of that you're putting inside. Okay? So I cooked the oxtail. I did it a little bit of the Jamaican route because I sauteed the onions, the garlic, and then I did put like maybe half a teaspoon, almost a teaspoon of brown sugar, and then you cook it at the bottom to caramelize it, and it just adds a certain amount of that taste to the oxtail. You didn't have to, because I usually don't do that, but I did that last night. And as I was snacking, you know, the taste was a bit different. So I am cleaning the oxtail, taking all the fat off. But I'm not a meat eater anyway. I'm doing this now, but I certainly don't want that. So if you cook meat, put it in the fridge overnight, and then in the morning, just scoop up the fat. Oh my gosh, that's 3 tablespoons. Wow. We don't want that. So what I thought I would do with the oxtail, usually when you see a Jamaican chef or cook it, they cook in the pressure cooker, and then they put carrots and carrots and, you know, some greens and peppers. And then once they create the gravy, then they add the white beans to it. That's just a classical way that they make oxtail. And if you've watched some videos, you know that's how they do it. So I thought for my bowl, the oxtail's already cooked. So I bought some Swiss chard. I'm going to cook the Swiss chard and some yellow pepper because always I'm thinking of contrast and colors, right? The Swiss chard is like spinach. You put it in there and it just gives you, it's got a vibrant green, right? So I'm gonna cook the peppers first, cook the Swiss chard, and then throw in the white beans that I cooked this morning. Just a little bit. I don't want a lot because beans and I just don't do well. Swiss chard. Oh yeah, just for you, Greta. And for our grain, we're gonna cook some quinoa, white quinoa. Now you can have red quinoa depending on what you're cooking, but for this recipe, I need white quinoa. And I made some broth for the quinoa, throwing the rest, the spine from the Swiss chard. I have the spine from some broccoli. I put some bay leaves, creating flavor, ladies. Always try to have some veggie broth in your house, in your kitchen. And if you just throw a bunch of veggies in there, strain it, put them in containers, in jars, like so. Always have your veggie broth in here, okay? And you can, oh, from Jamaica, good morning. Oh no, Clayton, I'm cooking some oxtail. Be kind, okay? I know you're the king, queen of oxtail. Be kind. All right, creating flavor. So what you do, Greta, if you have any kind of veggies that you haven't used and they're starting to look they're starting to look a little bit, like they're getting old, throw them in a pot. And you might want to put like bay leaves, some fresh garlic. If you have celery, carrots, onion, just throw it in there in a big pot and let it cook slowly for a while. And then once, maybe an hour or so, then strain it and put them in jars like this. You can put them in your freezer. And then if you're going to cook the next day, take one out and put it in the fridge. So whatever liquid your recipe calls for, use that. Because the veggie broth is like universal. You can use it with fish, with meat, with grains, with rice. It won't give you a taste. But some people do chicken broth. You can throw a whole chicken or chicken bones in there for chicken flavor, right? And there's also beef broth, where we roast the bones in the oven and then boil it with the veggies. Listen, you need to learn to make broth, and then your meals are gonna be amazing. And you don't have to use Maggie or the little packets of seasoning. Ugh, no bueno. Alright. So what I want to do now, I'm gonna put a little bit of the broth in the oxtail. And whoever's from Jamaica, I cooked some oxtail last night. I did burn the brown sugar. The only thing I didn't put Jamaican style was the allspice. I didn't put that in there, but it's just okay. So be kind, be kind. I know it's not gonna be like yours. All right, so I'm gonna let the oxtail cook a little bit again because I want it to really be soft, right? It is cooked. And then when I make the bowl, I think I'm gonna take the meat off the bone to make my bowl. Because I was watching a chef, Asian chef, make the broth to make pho. Pho, Vietnamese, Asian, it would have that beautiful broth. Let me tell you, that's where the work goes, in the broth. And I saw the same thing in Peru. Peru is a culinary destination, and I can't wait to go back. The food was amazing. They spend a lot of time making broth with herbs and the bones, and they call it caldo. So once you have the caldo is the broth, and then you can put anything you want in there. They can make pho, they put the noodles and the meat and the sliced chicken or pork or whatever meat they want. Then they put that green onions in there or bok choy, and then they throw that egg in there. And you have pho, right? But they also make all their soups. So it's caldo de, you know, when we teach Spanish, we use the word de, is of. So it's like broth of whatever meat. Caldo de pollo, that's chicken broth. And it's a soup, so you can put other things in it. And I went to that restaurant in Miraflores, which is a neighborhood in Lima, Peru, very kind of fancy and uppity. And they have a restaurant called Siete Sopas, 7 soups. I lost my mind in there, but I only tried one soup that was green, and I thought it was, they had put basil in it. I came home, white hominy. Oh, the beans. Okay, right. Well, I don't know what they would call it here, but I found some white beans. Will that do? It's not as big as an hominy, right? But those look like lima beans, white lima beans. Well, it took a long time to cook those beans, I'll tell you what. So, yes, I love the caldo. I love broth. I think it's amazing. Arbas. I did. I lost my mind because the food, and listen, it wasn't, I went to a fancy restaurant and had one of their special, what they known for in Peru, something called lomo saltado. And if there's any Peruvian, they know it's like beef tips, and they put it in peppers, but the secret was in the sauce. I took a bite, it melted in my mouth. Listen, I'm a critic when it comes to food. That's why I don't go out a lot, because I'll go pay my money and I'm like, what is this? The other day I went to a fancy restaurant here. Yes, I went to a fancy restaurant here, and it was an Italian restaurant. Everybody's talking about this. I'm like, okay. So I ordered a vegetable lasagna, right? Because I'm not into meat that much. That lasagna came, the color of the dish was this white. They had a layer of cheese on top of that noodle, lasagna noodle, this thick. And I was like, oh, why would you do that? I ordered vegetable lasagna. By the time I peeled off the layer of cheese, I could not find any vegetables in there, maybe a couple of peas. And I'm like, what the heck? And I haven't done a review yet, but I will. This is not good cooking. Who wants to eat that much cheese? If I wanted cheese, I'd order cheese, right? I was so mad. All right. So in our bowl, I'm cooking the oxtail a little bit. So in my bowl, I'm gonna have white quinoa over here, right? Broad beans that we use when cooking oxtail. Broad, is that the hominy? Lost some thyme. Yeah, I have thyme, garlic, spring onion. Yeah, I have a hard time finding spring onion here in Panama. Scotch bonnet pepper, of course. Well, I have some hot peppers. I don't know if they're Scotch bonnet or not, but I don't want too much. I like a little heat, but not too much heat. So we're gonna have quinoa. We are going to have, I'm gonna have some of that calabaza squash. And I'm gonna cook the Swiss chard with the peppers and what else would I put in there? I think that's all I want to put. I have some yellow peppers. I'm gonna put large white. Oh, amini is corn. Oh yes, they have a name for it in Peru. Something with a K. And then they sell it to you with a slice of artisanal cheese in a little bag. Well, you know, I had to try it. They have this big, cattle. What do you call that? Corn, whatever. But it's white, and it is so good with that cheese. White beans, the one you have there, that's what we call broad. Oh, okay. Thank you, Clayton. I wasn't sure. Oh, the white corn, yes. In Peru, they have it. They have a name for it, and they sell it to you with a slice of cheese, white cheese. Oh, so good, so good. I like everything about the food in Peru. And I was going to tell you, I went to this fancy restaurant, had the lomo saltado. Amazing. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And then I said, the next day I went back, it was close to my hotel. And I said, let me try a chicken soup. Listen, I make good soup, but no, not to that level. That soup, the broth, and apparently the chef who owns that restaurant is a choclo. You, girl, you got it, choclo. It's that white, big white corn with a slice of cheese. When I was on my way to Machu Picchu, they had the indigenous ladies sitting there in a big old pan, and they have like a fire pit, you know, they're cooking it, and then you got, you know, I made the guys, I'm like, oh, I got to try that, because you read that it's special. And then that chicha morada, that black corn that they cook, and then it gives a really deep red color, and then they drink that. The only thing I did not eat over there is those guinea pigs. I refuse. And then they said, oh, if you go to somebody's house and they give you the guinea pig, that's because they think highly of you. And I'm like, well, please don't think so highly of me, because I am not. I cannot. They say, oh, it depends on, some people raise them and they got good flavor. I don't care. I am not eating guinea pigs. Nope, no, 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 no. All right. Okay. So, all right, my squash is getting there. So let's get Greta's Swiss chard ready. Greta, for you, Greta. Woo. Turkey neck, maybe in my past life, not now. You know, I went whole food plant-based a couple of years ago, so meat and I don't have such a good relationship right now. If I'm making a recipe, I'll eat something, but I never go to the store, you know, to buy meat for me to cook. No. All right. So, we are going to take care of Greta's Swiss chard. And what I do also when I'm cooking in my kitchen, every time I have something left, like these, the spine, Greta, you save these and you put them in your broth to create your broth, okay? They are beautiful. You know, the first time I saw them, I almost lost my mind, because here, you don't find greens so much. They have spinach, but it's like hardier. It's not in bags. It's still with the spine, which, you know, I think it's healthier, so I like that. And they would take a little bit longer to cook than what you're used to in the States, right? But the Swiss chard is so beautiful. And I know some people like all that in there. I don't really like all that red in there. I want all my stuff to be green. Yes. And you know, Greta, that whole bunch was like $1.19. They're just very reasonable. I don't know, maybe they don't know how to cook it. We have vegetables here in Panama, but it's not a big part of the diet, unfortunately. So, more for me. They're big on calabaza squash, potatoes, sweet potatoes, I think Kamato they call it. What else do they eat? They have a lot of, what's the other one? You know, peppers, definitely onions. Carrots are very popular and prevalent. Chayote is big here. They add them to their soups because we do a lot of soups here. I think South America, Central America, we're really into soups. And oh, yes. So now when I have a sister who has an issue, the first thing I'm like, I can bring you something. It's going to be some kind of soup. Whether it's sancocho, which is the national dish here, or it is going to be some kind of chicken soup. Like the other day, this sister had something. I just got a chicken, and then I think I ended up making her some, what is it that I made the other day? Tortilla. I made a chicken tortilla soup. But I make a really nice tomato leek soup. Oh, let's see, I'm kind of boycotting carbs a little bit because carbs and I don't do well. It makes me swell up, something crazy. Ooh. But the Swiss chard, once it's cooked, it goes down to nothing. You know that, right? It's uh, just like spinach. But that's okay. More for me. So once I finish here, I'm gonna cook the. These probably got cold, so I'm gonna take those off. All right. So like I say, I save this time. So when I'm ready to make chicken broth, I always have something to put in there. Cube chayote and squash and condiment. Ooh, that sounds wonderful. I think chayote would do good with the kebab too, right? Chayote is so mild and versatile. I love using it in soup. But we also, in my culture, which oxtail would do really good with that. We cook the chayote with the meat after it's brown and cooked, and then we put carrots, we put cabbage, spinach sometimes, but chayote, and then eggplant. And what you do, once they cook, you kind of mash them together, and then with the meat, we call that legume. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's amazing. All right. So we're going to rinse that, and then we're going to cook the quinoa. All right, so I always have this bag of things to use in my to make my broth. Now you see, this is something I keep from using. This is a broccoli, I don't know what you call that. But, so I'm gonna put these spines in there. So when I'm ready to make more broth, I'm not gonna start from nothing. Recycle. All right, let me rinse the Swiss chard. Oh, we're gonna get the pepper. Onion. That. Oh, I also have some jalapeno. Love jalapeno. Okay. Gonna rinse those. So I'm thinking with the beans, okay, because I don't like gravy. That's one thing. I'm maybe Caribbean, but I don't like gravy. And then again, it's like I showed you how I scooped up all the fat from the meat. I feel that gravy carries a lot of fat that we don't need. So okay. So let's not do that. Gertha filius. Okay. All right. Let's cook our I'm gonna use this pan. Usually I like to use things a little deeper, but I'm cooking the oxtail in the heavy aluminum pan, which every Caribbean woman has a few of those. Good morning, Gertha. I'm making my bowls. We're starting with bowls this Sunday, and I'm gonna be doing quinoa, some veggies, and some oxtail. And I also have some calabaza squash we're gonna put in there. I didn't see callaloo anywhere. No, I don't think that's something you might find here. But now remember that we have a large Caribbean population in Colon and also in Bocas del Toro. Probably in those two spots you might find it. And also we do have some Jamaican neighborhoods in a place in the city called Rio Abajo. So some of the specialty things we need to ask people if they know where we can find them. All right, so I think the squash is ready. It's done. So I'm gonna take it out. Turn the oven off. All right. So with the quinoa, all I'm gonna do is put some garlic, a little bit of onions, and I have my broth here. I'll tell you, when I first started cooking quinoa, I had a little hard time. It was like, I could not get it to be nice and grainy, right? You don't want it to be overcooked. And I find that quinoa takes less water than rice. So you'll always be careful with that. So it might be a 1-to-1 ratio at this point. Let's see. Looking for the right size cover. Yep, that's it. All right. So what else would you like to see in the bowl, you guys? You know, I'm talking about, we can do one breakfast bowl 1 week, maybe not next week. So if you tell me, I was thinking salmon cubes with, and I even thought of maybe a taco bowl where I'm gonna do veggie balls. You know, I make the meatballs with veggies, and we could put that in a taco bowl with tortillas, black beans, a sofrito type thing, or pico de gallo. We could do that. All right. So, and then I think with the oxtail, I'm gonna throw the beans in there. Clayton, you approve, right? I'm gonna put the beans in the oxtail. Is that okay? And then I'm going to maybe put, the oxtail was mostly bones. So I'm gonna put one bony and then I'm gonna cut off the meat from the rest of them so we can have a little bit more meat. Is that okay? Mine is mushy. What's mushy? What's mushy, Ari? I don't like anything mushy though. I'm not sure what's mushy for you. I love lots of onions when I'm cooking, so bear with me. Fresh onions. I love onions. And garlic. And that's part of building flavor, right? The grains. Oh yeah, you mean the quinoa. Yeah, you probably put too much water. And I had to learn that too. Make sure in your kitchen you have a chef's knife, okay? That is a must. A good one. I couldn't find a good one here. I had to go home to retrieve mine. And when I came back, I was like, oh, I feel whole again. I bought two here. They just weren't the right kind. They were not strong. You know, this one is time and table. And I remember when I went to school, you had to buy a bag with all the different knives. Aw, thank you, Clayton. I think it's just about the love of cooking, right? Because when I cook, it's therapy for me. It really is. If I'm sad, I'm upset, this is my happy place. All right, now one thing about this little pan, they heat up really fast. So some oil. I'm using sunflower oil, or you could use extra virgin olive oil. And fresh garlic, do not use garlic powder. You're going to hurt me if you do that. Garlic powder, when I had the restaurant, I would go to a place that was like Sam's. And I bought, because you know, you're trying to find a way to streamline, because I was working myself to the bone. And they were selling like a gallon full of garlic cloves, I guess. And I thought that was gonna be better. No, there was no taste to that garlic. Again, I don't know how long it was in that jar. Don't do that. Take your time. And if somebody is coming like Gertha, bring me a nice garlic presser, por favor. I can't find a good one here. Oh my God. Oh no, she already brought me something. Gertha, forget that. Gertha came and brought me a gift. No, I'm not asking her anything else. Forget it, Gertha. You're off the hook. I'm going to ask somebody else. So I bought one here and it was so hard. I had to push my little fingers and I was like, it's not supposed to be this hard. So you're controlling your heat because you don't want to burn the onions or the garlic. It would mess up the taste of your dish. And I say that a lot, that the first skill you learn as a cook is how to control temperature. Temperature, don't burn the food. The chef would say, start over. You have to start over, especially if you burn the garlic. Whew, you're done. And I always do my onions first. I let them release their flavor. Right? You don't want it to burn. And then you add your garlic. I see people do them together. Their choice. I am not. Now, quinoa is something that I love coconut milk with rice, but not with quinoa. Now, if I cook quinoa with beans, I might consider it with beans. And I have cooked it with black beans or whatever bean. But today, oh, I forgot. I'm going to put some edamame on the side of my dish. So what I do with the edamame, you know, edamame is soybean, so you can get some protein from that. And when I was, you know, fully whole food plant-based, that was a challenge to find food that had enough protein if you're not eating meat. And then when I did some lab work, I noticed that, you know, I was protein deficient, so that's why slowly I started to introduce some protein in my diet. And I have some thyme, so I'm just putting a little bit of fresh thyme in here. And you know, I went to Cordon Bleu where we, you know, it's French cooking, but even the French use a lot of thyme, believe it or not. It's not a Caribbean thing. Ooh, smells so good. And then I'm going to make a bouquet garni. You know, when I cook grains, I do that. So I'm going to put the quinoa, I'm going to toast the quinoa. You need to do that also with your rice. And the quinoa doesn't need to be rinsed because it's like, what am I rinsing? So it's going to be two of us, my daughter and I. So I think that's enough. I'm going to put a bay leaf in there. And then you just toast it. You do that with rice after you wash the rice, of course. Hola everyone. Amy, hi. Well, we're making our bowls today, Amy. We're making oxtail, quinoa, Swiss chard. We have a little bit of the calabaza squash wasn't good today. There's no color to it. All right. So I'm putting the beans that I cooked in the oxtail. Not that I am trying to get gravy. I just want them to get the flavor from the oxtail. And then we have edamame and Swiss chard. All right, so I'm gonna increase the heat because I have to keep watching it. And this is the time where I want to season. All right. So now adobo. Remember, adobo has a little bit of salt, so you have to be careful. I like the spice blend, but it has no MSG. That's the only reason I'm using it. Paprika. Oh, not too much because I don't want my color to go off. It's a white quinoa. Fresh ground pepper. Just a little bit of cumin. I don't know, I love cumin. A little bit. I call it a taste stabilizer. I think that should do it. Alright. I think when the quinoa is almost done, I'm going to take some of that white bean, and put it in there. Listen, you guys, this is all creative what I'm doing it. Don't worry, when I'm going to Panama, I will let you know. You just tell me. You need to come visit. You need to. I thought you say you coming on 27. Cumin, yeah, I love cumin. And you know what I like? I like the Chinese 5 spice. See? I don't have to put any salt in this. Alright? Let it toast for a little bit. So good. Quinoa. Oh, and also in Peru, they eat a lot of quinoa. They harvest it, in fact. You've never been there? Oh, you should. Panama is beautiful. Alright. So now I'm going to put some of that veggie broth in here. Being careful not to put too much. This is the veggie broth that I just showed you. Nice and clear. So I have to wash this dish because it's very thin, so it tends to cook really fast. And sometimes if I'm not careful, it will burn at the bottom. So I have to really keep my eye on it. Now you see it's like a 1-to-1 ratio. You don't want your quinoa to be mushy. No bueno. So we're gonna cook our Swiss chard next. Always taste your food, always. I remember I would take my dish to the chef. Well, not me, you know, I'm always tasting my food. And the chef would take a bite, and he's like, did you taste it? And then one other thing he used to always say to me, Maggie needs more salt. I'm like, no, you don't. I was the oldest in the bunch, and I was the nurse. So I was like, no, you don't need that much salt. He said, needs more salt. Because you know, salt is a flavor enhancer, right? All right, so I have some liquid for my beans, so I'm gonna throw it in my, um, where I put my, my broth. I don't want to lose that. You can cook really good rice, gurkha, from, you know, we always use the rice for our beans, but this is white beans, so don't throw that away. Save it. Flavor, flavor, flavor. All right, you're cooking too fast. I'm gonna turn it down. It's a very shallow pan. It will be fine. All right. All right. The heat, that's why you need to have a cover that is tight, or some people would put like foil. All right. All right, so we got this. So we're gonna have to get ready to season our greens, right? I'm trying to think if I need to put some tomatoes. I have tomatoes. Do we need more color? White quinoa. All right. So the edamame, just like I cook my broccoli, my green beans, I boil some water, and then I put the edamame or the broccoli or the green beans in a pot, and I cover it and I let it cook that way. Because what you want with your veggies, you don't want them to lose their color. So when you put it on the pan, sometimes you turn around, you forget, and when you turn, they're already turning brown. You want to do that. So I find that if I do that, and I like them to be a little bit crispy, I don't want my veggies to be, you know, really soft. I want them to have a bite. So I find that technique works for me. And then once I taste it and it's fine, I throw the hot water in and I put some cold water with ice. That way you stop the cooking process and you keep your color. I am bougie about that, and I get upset when somebody puts some green beans on my plate that look brown. No bueno. All right. This is for the edamame. All right. So now we're going to do the same thing. Onions and garlic for our Swiss chard. All right. Control your temperature. For this one, I'm going to use a little bit of my herb oil. Edamame. soybeans. Okay. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. Now while this is toasting, we're gonna get the garlic. It's like having garlic in the house is like having water, okay? You know, garlic, fresh thyme, fresh cilantro, culantro, jalapeno. You know, these are things that I have in my kitchen. Mm, yeah, that looks good. Keeping an eye on that pot. The garlic presser will make it easier. You know, I can order one from Amazon. I have not ordered anything from Amazon since I've been here, but I am told that they deliver here. You know, I keep telling myself, if they don't have something here, I go to the next thing. I don't need it. I don't sweat not having this, not having that. Yeah, life's too short. All right, I have some yellow pepper. I think that would be a nice little contrast. So we're gonna julienne that pepper because we don't want big chunks of it. I think the taco bowl sounds interesting. What do you guys think? I'm gonna be ground beef. I don't eat that. How does the taco bowl sound? I hear it's more expensive for Amazon and Panama. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't used them, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm tempted to add like some tomatoes here just for more color. Oh, and I have some jalapeno. How about a little bit of jalapeno? Bonjour. All right, I'm gonna let this cook a little bit because, like I said, the Swiss chard is just gonna disappear. I don't know. What do you think? Some tomatoes or no? I am tempted. All right, let's. Okay, let's see. I need some. I have Scotch bonnet, but I don't need Scotch bonnet right now. You don't take it out until it's all puffed up, right? But that's what you want. You want the grains to open up. All right. Salt, pepper, pretty much that's all you need in this thing here. Salt, pepper, a little bit of adobo, and then definitely some lime juice, right? You want a little bit of acid. I think you can tolerate a little bit of paprika. It's not going to mess up the color. And the acid I put at the end with maybe a little bit of, okay, almost done. Ooh, so pretty. Cooking to me is like a dance. But now, only because I'm on YouTube, but I would have some music blaring if I'm cooking for myself. The products or shipping. Well, the product is the same. It's the shipping that's the problem. But you know how most people get things shipped to them here? Is that you get an address in Miami. For example, I have mailbox, etc. So if somebody were to send something to me, it would go to my address in Miami, and then the Miami office would make sure it gets here. And you can even have it delivered to your place. Alright, here comes the Swiss chard. I'm breaking them up roughly. And I will not be adding any water because it's going to drain water itself. Okay, get rid of some acid. And here when I say acid, I'm talking about lime because that's what we have most here. We don't have, well, we have lemon. It took me a month after I moved here to find lemons. I was like, where are the lemons? Until you learn, you're like, well, you just go with what they have. And you can get sometime 10 limes for $1. Yesterday I saw 5. The prices fluctuate. Like I go inside a food store and I buy a pack of 6 tomatoes, Roma tomatoes for 3 something. And then I go to the little market and I get a whole bag for $1. Paprika and lime, yes, yes, yes. Ooh, yes, I love mangoes too. You know, we have really good avocados here. And this is avocado season. Oh my goodness. I love avocado. And I was watching a show. You know how when you go on social media, if you click like on something, then you start seeing all the same thing. Not the same what you watch, but on the same vein. So there is a program where they show you people in the interior, the campo they call it, and how they harvest, how hard they work. I absolutely love all that. Yes. Okay. Quinoa. Alright, let's get the edamame. I'm going to turn this on. We don't need this. So cleaning up. I'm going to need some cilantro. I think I will add some tomatoes. I think it will give it a nice contrast. Ooh, some jalapeno. I Jalapeno. Don't you love jalapeno? Yes. When I'm cooking, I love to listen to music. I'll have some in there with Bocelli, or if you have jazz, whatever genre you like. Greta, you see your Swiss chard? See how good they look? You can stop right here if you wanted. If you don't want them to be too soft. That is perfectly legit. And I think I will stop here, so I'm going to turn the heat off. I'm going to throw a couple of little pieces of, so I already turned the heat off, okay? So if you have eggs or anything like that, just use the Swiss chard like this. Put different colored peppers. I just don't have them, but if I had the red and the, maybe not the green, but the red, I would. Just throwing a little bit of jalapeno. If you can stand it, yes. If you don't have to. If you're afraid of heat. Alright. And then we're going to do some acid. Some lime. Acid always makes the dish come together for me, the flavor. Alright? So now we're going to taste it, make sure we have enough salt. Not that we need a lot of salt, but nothing else is needed. Perfecto. So I'm going to take it off the burner because I don't want it to continue cooking. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my green. All right? Excellent. All right. We're just about done. Almost done. Almost done. Look. Grainy. I'm going to turn this down some more. All right. Edamame. I was surprised to find edamame in here because it's not something I was expecting to find in Panama. But you know what I had a hard time finding? Lima beans. I remember going to that store. Some stores just don't use lima beans, period. Maggie, pressed avocado, not mashed, but just crushed lime, coriander, loads of chilies, pink Himalayan salt. Oh, that sounds amazing. You know, I don't like, that's why I don't like guacamole, because I don't like anything mashed. Like bananas, I don't like anything mashed. But I dice my avocado and then I season it and I'll eat it. Yeah, I don't like it mashed. So I am with you on that. Okay? All right. So, we're going to put the hot water on this edamame. And then I'm going to cover it and let it kind of cook this way. All right? Well, I all just about done. Okay, we have our oxtail. Oh, it looks so good. We have our oxtail here with the beans. You know, even though I took some of that fat up, it still got a little fat. Oh, and some acid. But you know, when I marinated it, Clayton, I did put some Scotch bonnet. Some of the peppers we have here, they call it ahi chumbo. That's the only type of hot pepper we can find here. And when I look in the dictionary, it says habanero, not Scotch bonnet. But I was happy to find it because most of the pepper they have here are dulce, meaning sweet. Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. So let me get ready for us to be able to use this board to put together our bowls. I gotta clean up a bit. Okay. Yeah, acid, you always, most your meals, you want to finish with some acid and some herbs, you know, like cilantro or parsley, very mild, but oh, so good. You know, any sauces, any soups, finish off with some herbs and some acid, and you're going to have a winner every time. I guarantee it. You know, I think this bowl is a bit too deep for what we're going to plate. So, we're going to use another one. We're going to use this one. We need something a little bit shallower, more shallow. All right. You guys, we're ready to plate. We're almost ready to plate. We're just waiting on the quinoa to just pop up a little bit more. And then we're going to do our 2 bowls. And then when to decorate, we're going to decorate with some tomato slices and some jalapeno slices. So that's what we're going to decorate with. Let me wash the tomato. I hope you notice how I'm always washing things, washing my hand. Cilantro, coriander, yes. You don't like parsley? That's fine. It's just mad. That's okay. Aren't you glad you have choices though? Right? Yes. And eggplant is another one of my favorite vegetables. Don't you love eggplant? I make something called ratatouille. Are you familiar with that? Ratatouille? Oh boy. I know it's not the rat, but it is a recipe that is beloved from Nice, France. I think I need to maybe boil this just a tad. Ratatouille, you put eggplant, zucchini, all peppers, and tomatoes. And I would use my herb oil. You roast them in the oven, and then it's nice and mushy and everything is mixed together. And then you can shave some Parmesan on top towards the end if you want to. But, you know, eggplant Parmesan, We add eggplant to our meat stew type thing, and you know, amazing. You can't go wrong with eggplant. And it's plentiful here. We call it berenjena. And of course in French it's aubergine, so it's close. You know, as I teach Spanish, I am so grateful for the French language because a lot of things. Is your quinoa, whoever is saying that quinoa is pasty, that's because you put too much liquid in it, okay? And remember how I roasted it first? That's a good technique. I learned to cook rice that way, even though in the Caribbean we don't cook rice like that. I think it needs 5 more minutes. Then we're going to throw some of the white beans in here. 5 minutes. So what do you guys want to do next week? Which kind of bowl do you want? So I told you about the taco bowls, veggie bowls we would use as the ground beef. And then we would do pico de gallo. We would have, I would just put avocado on top. I don't want to mash it. Tortillas, black beans, and you can also do some Mexican rice. We do cilantro rice. You could do that. Oh, it's aubergine as well in the UK. Oh, that's nice. Are you in the UK, Amy? The name of the meal doesn't sound appetizing to me. Which meal? Which meal, Clayton? What I'm doing now? How can oxtail and quinoa not sound appetizing? Are you talking about the taco bowl? Or the ratatouille? Oh, you're talking about the name. I got you. Listen though, forget the name. It is amazing. It's flavorful. And they have different versions of it. So maybe I just chop everything and put it in the oven. But you can slice the eggplant. You know, you buy the smaller one, the thin one. You slice them. And then you slice the zucchini. You slice the tomato. And then what you do, you just layer them. And then you make a circle. It looks amazing. You could see it if you check some recipes. And then you season it like that, and then you cook it, and it comes like it's almost like one of those what's that caprese salad type thing, where you have things on top of each other, except that it's gonna go around in the pan. Like if you had a pan like this, it's gonna go like around, and then you do the middle, and then you do the middle, and then it looks amazing. Maybe I'll do it like that. And you could see how you could do it. Yep. All right. So it's quinoa with white beans. It's edamame. It's Swiss chard. And then the meat. Oh, and don't forget the squash. I don't have a whole lot of it, but it's good. I think a little bit of some avocado would have been nice too, but I don't have any. All right. I absolutely love squash. I could eat it every day. Edamame. Come on, papi. And then we're just gonna toss it in a little bit of that herb oil, just to give it a little flavor. Almost. What I can do in the meantime is work on the oxtail. All right, I'm putting some of the peas, the white beans, in the quinoa. Imagine how much it's gonna flavor it, right? Yes, 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 yes. Play with your food. You know that's my catchphrase. Play with your food. No one can tell you you can't. And that's the thing with cooking. You can mix and match and take this out, add this here, and then you have a totally new recipe. No one can come after you for stealing their recipe because you just play with it. You add, you take away. And mixing the beans with the quinoa just came to me. And I'm like, why not? Yeah, I'm kind of I don't like to follow the trend. I like to do my own thing, especially in the kitchen. I'm not creative, I told you. Anywhere else but in the kitchen. Oh, this is so nice. Because those beans have taken on all the juices from the oxtail. Now, I don't know who decided that we needed to eat oxtail, but I thank them because that is a special cut of meat. I mean, I am not a meat eater, but I will eat some oxtail. And griot from my country, yes. I haven't had griot in a long time because I don't trust myself to cook it here. I would eat it, and I might get sick because I haven't had it in so long. I don't eat beef like that except that oxtail. And I think on a couple of occasions I've had some what we call costillas here. It's ribs, but not the way you think of ribs in the US. They don't come the same way. But very bony. So I like to use those when I'm cooking okra. And to me right now, oxtail is just the best cut of meat for soups. Because you have to cook it so much. Ooh, here is the quinoa. My goodness, it's gorgeous. Yes. Let's take that. Thought I saw that bay leaf in there, but I took it out. Oh man, it looks good. Ooh, All right, Maggie. All right, I'm gonna take the edamame out. All right, I'm gonna put some ice to cool it down and start the cooking process. Yep, put some ice in it so the color doesn't go. And then I'm gonna drain it and just toss this in a little herb oil and we're good. All right, so we are ready. Oh my goodness. The quinoa is amazing. All right, here we go. I did not want the deep bowl. I want a bowl that is more shallow. So, we are going to put our quinoa right here. Oh, it is so pretty. Oh, sis is gonna have something else to eat tonight. That's good. Leftovers. Okay. Okay. And I think this is what is so nice about the bowl is that you have versatility, right? Okay. And Swiss chard. Swiss chard. Here. And that's what a bowl is. It's just you have to have variety. You have to have different things, right? So it's not two things. You can have four or five. And you could also do a salad bowl, right? We haven't done salad much on this show, so we probably should do a salad bowl. Okay? Now, let's take care of the edamame. All right. Edamame. We're just gonna toss it with a little bit of the herb oil.